Well, a very, very happy Monday morning, everyone, and welcome to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Glad you could join me after a fun weekend. Watched a lot of ball over the weekend. Started Friday night, Saturday, a lot of college football. Yesterday, a little bit of NFL, but I had to watch my Lakers. They won their fourth straight after a great start, 12-4, and they've already won 8 road games this year. So, kind of excited about the way the Lakers are playing right now. We got a lot to cover today on the program. A couple of orders of business. Number one, we've been doing this show for a while now. I want to continue to build our list of subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, would very much appreciate it if you would do that. Like our program, share our program, and please always send in your comments. Whether or not you get on during Coach's Crew or not, we're always going back and looking at interesting questions, and I love questions. I love questions. So, again, please subscribe. We also have our Gold Glove package, which it's a way more than anything else to help support what we're doing here. There are some expenses involved. I don't go out and sell sponsorships. We want to keep the show rolling. $2.99 a month. Anything you could afford, we'd very much appreciate that. But $2.99 our Gold Glove package, and we'll continue to bring you top flight sports information, primarily on the Padres. We will talk about other things from time to time, but normally we talk a lot of Padres on this program because that's what you folks really want in San Diego. And of course, we'll talk about other teams outside the market as well from time to time. It's called San Diego Sports Talk, the John Kentera Show. But if there's some burning issue, we're going to talk about it. So I appreciate anything you can contribute, whether it's a Gold Glove package or a supers from time to time. Very much appreciated. Now, again, we're doing the show today. We're going to do another one Wednesday, and then we'll take Friday off. I'm going to go down to the Rady Children's Invitational, watch some of the best basketball around on Friday. Looking forward to that. It should be a lot of fun. I'll be able to report that a little bit next Monday. And I know a lot of people may not be able to tune in live on Wednesday, so I'll tell you right now, a very happy Thanksgiving to all you great folks out there and people that have been very loyal to my program, and very much appreciate that. You'll never know how much I appreciate you great listeners out there. And really, like I've always said, when I was on radio for 35 years to where I'm at right now, I've always looked at my listening audience and now viewership as an extension of the Kentera family. And I really do believe that. And when you're out and about and you see me at a sporting event, don't ever shy away from coming up and shaking hands or starting a conversation. I have time for everyone and always enjoy the conversation. We're all sports fans and we enjoy talking about sports. So if you ever see me out in the community, whether I'm watching one of my grandkids play ball or just out watching an Aztec game or a Toreros game or a Tritons game, come up and say hi. I always appreciate that, and we always have something in common. There's no doubt about that. Now, I want to remember we got our big Christmas party coming up, and that'll be a week from this Friday, December 5th, 4 o'clock, the Leucadian. It's a bar that my dad and uncle started back in the 50s. We no longer own the bar, but it's a great place to have a get together, and you never know who could show up. We've had a lot of big celebrities over the years show up. I know the Rocket, Rod Laver, will be there again this year. I talked with Rod a week ago, actually spent some time with the Rocket at the Leucadia. We were having our pregame meeting for the party, and I know there are going to be some other baseball people show up, some football people that'll show up. So if you have an opportunity, I would encourage you to get there early. There is some construction going on down in Leucadia. It's all good, but parking can be limited if you get there a little bit later. So if you're in the neighborhood, you may want to Uber. We have a tremendous crowd for this party. I mean, it's fantastic. Everybody is welcome, whether you're from Chula Vista, Escondido, out in the East County. Everybody's welcome. Anybody that watches my program, you're welcome. And we have a lot of our viewers that show up and listeners that show up. So again, that'll be a week from Friday, December 5th at the Leucadian down in the north end of Leucadia. It starts at 4 o'clock and goes to whenever. So I'll remind you about that on Wednesday and all next week. Okay, we're going to get into Fernando. Um, I know the Padres a week or so ago came out and said they're not going to trade Fernando Tatis Jr., and they may not this year. He's still, I think, affordable to this point. But on Friday, as I was watching ball games on Friday night, I was scrolling through X. And I saw Michael Kay from the Yes Network, who's also a play by play voice on television for the New York Yankees and has been for many years. And he went on a big diatribe talking about how Brian Cashman should call AJ Preller and say, AJ, what do you need and what do you want? We want Fernando Tatis Jr. Can we make a deal? And, I listened to all the rationale talking about his great defense. And again, I've talked about it and I'll go back and talk about it again. If you look at Fernando's first 3 years in the big leagues, absolutely off the chart. Then you go through the year he missed with the injuries and the surgeries and the PED suspension, and then look at the last 3 years. Completely different ball player offensively. Completely different, in my opinion. And we'll get into OPS here in a minute. But I want to tell you, I went through this last night because Sam Sanford, who's a really good viewer to our program, sent me a note. And, we had heard at the end of last week that there was talk the New York Mets want to go after Fernando. And then Michael Kay stirred it up on Friday on his program that the Yankees ought to go after Fernando. And like I said, Padres said they're not trading him. And again, he's got a no trade clause until after the 2028 season. And then there's 13 teams he can annually decline going to. But I would imagine if the Yankees wanted to trade for Fernando, I would imagine that Fernando may waive the no trade and go to the Yankees, if that's the case. Now, he may want a little bit more money out the door to go to the Yankees because he does have a no trade. And I think we all agree when Fernando originally signed this deal, and it was a big deal. There's no question about it. 14 years, $340 million. And we all said, oh, man, that's a great deal. I still think it's a great deal. The problem is it's so heavily backloaded from 2029 to 2034. He's going to be making $36 million a year. And I'm going to break down his contract for you right now. But I think where the Padre ownership is, and we have no idea how long it's going to take to get this ball club sold. We have no idea who's going to buy it. But hey, they want to make the books look a little bit better. And I'll be honest with you, with Machado getting re-upped, which in my opinion was a mistake. Okay, if he wanted to opt out, he should have let him opt out, go after another young stud. That's what I would have done. But I think Peter Seidler wanted to keep Manny in a Padre uniform. But with Manny getting re-upped, with Xander Bogaerts' contract, and with Fernando Tatis Jr.'s contract, and of course you got Cronenworth at $12 million a year, which isn't a lot, but he's not the same player he was the first couple of years either. And I think we've gotten the best out of Jake Cronenworth. He's making $12 million a year every year up until 2030. And then you're paying Darvish to not pitch. So you got a payroll that's choking this organization. And they want to make the books look good when they try to sell the ball club. I don't know if they're going to be able to sell the ball club anytime soon, especially with 2027 looking like we're not going to start baseball on time. It's going to have to be somebody with really, really deep pockets and somebody that really, really wants a Major League Baseball team. Because I think we're going to play in 2026. And I don't see right now, unless Tony Clark and Rob Manfred could really get on the same page, and there's no reason to believe they will get on the same page anytime soon. 2027, I got a big question mark. That's why I've been saying I think all these television networks need to talk to the Nippon Professional Baseball League in Japan. They need to talk to the KBO and get those games on television like they did with the KBO during COVID. Because I don't see 2027 starting on time. That's me. Maybe I'm totally off base. But I don't like where this is going. The owners and Manfred are going to dig their heels in. They want a salary cap. the Players Association not going to go for a salary cap, and they're also going to want a floor to where teams like Colorado and Pittsburgh, they actually have to spend some money. Rather than taking money in, they're going to have to spend some money. And you may see those teams this year spend money to try to look a little bit better going in to the labor talks. So it's going to be very interesting on that. But getting back to Fernando, here's the deal on Fernando: 14 years, $340 million. Signed it in 2021. It runs out in 2034. And he got a $10 million signing bonus. 2021, he got $1 million. 2022, he got $5 million. 2023, $7 million. Then it starts escalating. 2024, he got 11. This past year, he got $20 million. So far, the Padres paid Fernando $54 million so far. This coming year, he will make $20 million in 2026. Then it starts moving up. 27 and 28, $25 million. 29 to 34, $36 million annually. And again, he can block all trades through 2028. And then 13 teams annually he may block from 2029 till his final year in 2034. So again, they've paid him $54 million so far. He's still owed $286 million. And from 2029 to 2034, the Padres owe him $216 million. So I think he's a movable contract, even though offensively he hasn't proven to be the same guy he was the first 3 years in the big leagues. I think they're going to move him. Whether it's this year or next year, I think they're moving him. They're not going to want to pay him $36 million. Now, if they trade him before they get to that, and I would imagine by 2029 they're going to have new owners. I don't think they're going to have a new owner by the middle of this baseball season. They may not have a new owner until 2028. We don't know. We have no idea who's interested in buying the Padres right now. But at some point in time, this ownership is going to move him. They do not have the money to keep him. They're going to have to move some other players as well. And where the Padres are at right now, not just financially, they need pitching. They need a lot of pitching. And they're going to have to make some decisions. But again, Fernando kind of holds the cards here because he could dig in and go, I don't want to go. But I would think if you got a choice to stay in San Diego or go play on center stage in New York, he's going to New York. If the Yankees were willing to take on that contract, which I'm sure they would, and they could play him in left field. They could probably play him in center. And there's even talk, who knows, maybe they put him back at shortstop because Anthony Volpe not getting it done offensively. I could see this. And I saw this coming a long time ago. Now, whether or not it happens, I don't know. But I also think Fernando, at some point in time, if the Padres don't win and win big, he's going to want to be out of here. And you might as well get something for him while you can get something for him. Now, let me give you his numbers offensively, okay? And I hate to beat a dead horse on this, but he's just not the same player. And I think, you know what? You see it. I see it. We both love him. He's my favorite guy to watch play, but he's not the same player. He's not the electrifying offensive player he once was. Still a great defender. I mean, God, he won 2 gold gloves in 3 years out there, 2 platinum gloves for the best fielder in the entire league. I mean, amazing. But he's not the big bopper he was. Okay, Fernando, first year. He had a 969 OPS in 84 games. Remember, he missed the latter part of the year with that stress reaction in his back. That's another issue you got to be careful about. Then he comes back in COVID and has a 937 OPS. And then in 2021 was his big year. He hit 282 with 42 bombs, 97 RBIs, 975 OPS, and a 166 OPS plus. I mean, those are video game numbers right there. Video game numbers. Then he missed 2022. He had the 2 wrist surgeries. He had the shoulder surgery. And then right when he's working his way back, he gets dinged for PEDs. So he misses all of the 2022 season. Then he comes back. Not a bad first year back. after missing an entire year, 2023, 141 games, he had 257, 25 homers, 78 RBIs, 770 OPS, OPS plus a 110. Then 2024, 102 games, 276, 21 homers, 49 RBIs, 833 OPS, and a 130 OPS plus. And then this past year, 268, 25 homers, 71 RBIs, 814 OPS, 125 OPS plus. OPS plus is great. But when you take a look at his first 3 years, he had OPS as a 969, 937, and 975. Not even close the last 3 years. 770, 833, and 814. Dropped off significantly. And, he hasn't hit for a big average, 268 with 25 homers. That's okay, but it's not, going to get you into the Hall of Fame. I mean, his first 3 years were amazing. Amazing. And he was electrifying on the base paths. Not the same player for me. And this past year, in my opinion, he looked bored. He looked uninterested, and I don't know what was going on with him. I really don't. So that's my take. I think at some point in time, whether it's this year or next year, or maybe the new owner will keep him. Maybe the new ownership will keep him. But I think where the Padres are at financially and what they need on the mound, hey, you may need to move him. You need to move him. I'll tell you what, I think the ownership, if you traded Fernando, I think they would exhale, and it would be a real sigh of relief to get that contract out from underneath this organization. That's what I think. What do you think? I mean, I'm not trying to run him out of town by any stretch of the imagination, but the money figures don't lie. And his offensive decline, which is a decline, they don't lie. It's kind of like in football when you're coaching, they go, well, this guy did this, did that. Well, let's take a look at the film. Film don't lie. And those are the numbers. I mean, he's a good offensive player, but he's not upper echelon, not Juan Soto. He's not Aaron Judge, not Ohtani. So you tell me what you think about that. Okay, I want to get to Padre roster moves. And when I looked at this one roster move on Friday, and we didn't have time to really get into this, I wanted to wait till today. The one guy that the Padres did not tender that I thought maybe they would be Omar Cruz, a left-handed pitcher, 26 years of age. They also did not tender a contract to Sean Reynolds, so he's a free agent. I get Reynolds. You got a lot of guys like Sean Reynolds, but Omar Cruz, a left-hander, who I kind of like. I guess he's out of options. And he only pitched 3 2/3 last year with a 4.91 ERA, but I kind of liked his stuff. Down in AAA, he had a 4.75, 83 innings in AAA last year. He becomes a free agent. I don't know if they'll try to re-sign him, but he's out of options. So they could get him off the 40-man roster. And Sean Reynolds, last year, 27 innings, 5.33, big, strong, hard-throwing right-hander, ball pretty straight. El Paso last year, 28 and a third innings, 2.86 ERA. I know a lot of people are, why did they let Sean Reynolds go? Well, they got a lot of Sean Reynolds in this organization. And he's out of options, not going to make the team, probably out of spring training. But Omar Cruz is a guy I kind of liked. Padres agreed to a 1-year deal with Luis Campusano. Now, here's my take on Campusano. Number one, he was 0 for 21 last year. He had 6 walks and 11 strikeouts in 21 official at-bats, but, the walks don't count. So he had, 27 plate appearances, 0 for 21. Yet the guy tore up the Pacific Coast League. Yeah, he just tore it up. I mean, he ripped the ball at a record pace. 325, 25 bombs, 95 RBIs. Had a hell of a year. 441 on base percentage, 595 slug. We know what Campusano's all about. Probably going to come up. I would imagine he'll hit 240, 250, be the backup catcher, save the Padres some money. He was poorly handled last year by Mike Schilt and the staff. You bring a guy up who's hot down in trouble, you got to get him some playing time. And it wasn't like Freddie Fermin was here before that. You had Martin Maldonado, who had struggled to hit 200, and you had Elias Diaz, who struggled to hit 200. I mean, bring this guy up. You bring him up and you put him in the cooler. And there was one point in time where the guy didn't play like for 8 days, something like that. He played in like 8 games last year. I mean, it was like crazy. I think he actually got in 10, but there was an 8-day period where he didn't even play. And then you're asking the guy to come up and pitch hit against some of these great relief pitchers. I mean, talk about a recipe for failure. So Luis Camposano, in my opinion, ought to be the backup catcher. Save a little money there. Fermin's not going to cost you a lot of money. Give the kid an actual opportunity. He's going to be out of options as well. So unless you were going to trade him, he's your backup guy. Him and Fermin, split time. Fermin, you got to remember, Fermin played behind Salvador Perez for years in Kansas City and hasn't caught a lot. And you can't catch him 120 games. You're going to need a backup catcher. And let it be Camposano. What the hell? You got nothing to lose there. He's going to hit better than Maldonado and Diaz if you give him a little bit of playing time and don't put him in the cooler. That's my take on that. Now, additionally, the Padres tendered contracts to Jason Adam, who we know won't start the season on time, Mason Miller, Adrian Morejon, J.P. Sears, Freddie Fermin, and Gavin Sheets. And all those guys, there should not be a big problem, I don't think, signing those guys. In January, their agent, their representative, will exchange numbers with the Padres. And I would imagine they'll get the deal done. A.J. Preller, since he's been the president of baseball operations and general manager, has never taken a player to arbitration. It's never had to go to arbitration. Padres have always been able to settle. So I'm sure that's probably what will happen there. Okay, I want to get out to Coach's crew on this Fernando thing. Everybody's got to have an opinion on this. You got to have an opinion. And you know what? You got to have an opinion in your mind, not your heart. Because I think we all agree we want to keep him. But financially, I don't think this organization, the current administration, can afford this guy, especially as this contract continues to escalate. It's going to limit what this organization can do. So let's get out and see what you have to say on Coach's crew today. Little casino music. Need to trade Tatis and Cronenworth for Jason Dominguez, Spencer Jones, George Lombard Jr., Ben Rice, Clark Schmidt, and Ben Hess. Well, I will tell you this. They put Spencer on the 40-man roster. I know Spencer pretty well, know his mom and dad. They come to our Christmas party. They missed it last year because they were out of town, but I would imagine they'll be there this year. That's a big haul. Now, Jason Dominguez, last 2 or 3 years, kind of been the guy that was supposed to be the next great New York Yankee. He hadn't materialized to this point. George Lombard Jr., heck of a player. Now, I'm not sure. You may be getting a little too much there if you're the Padres. I mean, if they would take Cronenworth and Tatis, you're saving a lot of money. You're saving a lot of money right there. Dominguez isn't going to cost you. Spencer would be a rookie. Lombard be a young guy. Rice and Schmidt not making big money right now. And I don't know much about Ben Hess. That would be a heck of a haul. I don't know if you could get quite that haul. But you know what? You probably could get Spencer. I mean, Spencer had a monster year. Strikes out a lot. He did cut his strikeouts down a year ago in the 2024 season. He struck out 200 times. But he had a ton of home runs. A great guy, can run 6'7", can play all three outfield spots, played first base at La Costa Canyon for Justin Machado. Was up there many, many times to talk with Spencer. Great guy. That'd be cool. But I do think you got to try to move Cronenworth for sure. Cronenworth is probably fairly movable. And maybe you get a couple of pitchers for Cronenworth. If you package a couple of other young guys down in the minor leagues, I don't know if you can get a frontline guy, probably a middle of the rotation guy, but you got to get Cronenworth's contract off the books. But a little casino music, I don't disagree. That'd be a hell of a trade, but I think that's a little bit too much coming from the Yankees. But thank you very much. Showtime LA. Any idea where Robert Suarez is going, Coach? No, none at all. I was looking at RJ Anderson, and I'm going to talk a little bit about him in a minute from CBS Sports. He said Suarez, any team that needs a quality reliever, Suarez is going to be on their list. I think Robert's going to get a really nice deal. Now, remember, he turned down the final 2 years of a deal in San Diego that paid a total of $16 million. 8 in 2026 and 8 in 2027. He walked away from that, declined the offer. He made 10 this last year, so he wasn't going to go backwards after leading the National League with 40 saves. I think there are a lot of teams that are going to be in on Robert Suarez, even though he's 34 years of age. He won't get a long-term contract, probably get a 2 to 3 year contract. I can't imagine anybody giving him a longer contract than that. Showtime LA, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Uno, prepare to no longer sell out every game if they move Fernando. Well, you know what? I don't know if I agree with that. What I do agree with is you got to win baseball games. I got to go back to AJ Preller not getting his contract extension yet. I mean, this is kind of starting to get a little bit laughable. What is the holdup? And, I realize that the ownership is looking to go a different direction and get out. But here's a guy, AJ Preller, that works morning, noon, and night. He's gotten your team in the playoffs for the last 6 years. Because you're winning ball games, you're selling out on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday nights. And I got news for you. If Fernando's not on the team, I know there are going to be a high percentage of people disappointed. But you bring in another star and you win ball games. As long as you're winning games, people are going to come because you know what? Petco Park right now is a destination. People want to be a part of the excitement. If you're winning games, you're winning 90 plus games, people are going to come. If you're winning 74 games, then you know what? You're going to have a lot of empty seats. But right now, Fernando is looked at more as a defensive player than he is an offensive player by a lot of people. How many home runs do you see Fernando in highlights right now? It's all about his catchers in right field. He's the premier outfielder in baseball right now. I don't know if he's the best outfielder in baseball, but he makes the most spectacular catches in the outfield. It's hard to pinpoint that. There's some pretty good outfielders out there. As long as you win, people will come. Most of the time, if you play an entertaining brand of ball. How about the Aztecs? They had a little over 15,000 for their football game the other night. I don't know what we're going to talk about that on Wednesday a little bit. I don't know how the Aztec athletic department is going to get football fans back into wanting to go to watch the Aztecs play football. But as far as Fernando, yeah, there are going to be people grousing and complaining, but you bring somebody in down the road or you continue to win baseball games, people are going to come. People like going down there. A lot of money to go down there. Heck, they've raised ticket prices for the last 5 years 53%. That hasn't hindered people from going. Not at all. Okay, Mike, not much longer before Manny X, Jake, and junior contracts start to really strangle this ball club. Amen to that. Yeah, and you know what? You can't move Manny. You can't move Xander. I mean, you're stuck with those contracts. So those guys are like 40 years old. And you're going to get diminishing returns. It's that simple. And you know what? That leads to bad baseball. And it's not like this organization is frothing at the mouth with prospects down in the minor leagues. We've had to do everything possible to try to get this roster to where we could be a playoff team. I mean, beg, borrow, and steal. And right now, we don't have any big prospects down there that are going to wow everybody. Not at all. So you got to move these contracts. You got to move the ones you can move. And I think Fernando, where he's at right now, you got to move him. You got to move him. And you know what? People are going to be mad. They're going to be irritated. They're going to stomp their feet. They're going to call talk shows. They're going to check in with me. What the hell are the Padres doing? It's a simple math equation. The Padres don't have this kind of money long term. It's that simple. I understand that. And I knew when they signed some of these deals, the Machado one to re-up him, to me, was a disaster. Was an absolute disaster. And Fernando's contract is very affordable if you don't have these other contracts choking you. So there you have it. Somebody's going to have to go, and the easiest guy to move would be Fernando. Very affordable contract. Young player, 27 years of age. How are you going to trade 33-year-old guys that have contracts and their offense isn't what it once was? Manny was okay, but Manny's best days are behind him, in my opinion. He's still a good player. He won a Silver Slugger, but take a look at the reason he won the Silver Slugger. There were some awful third basemen. Awful third baseman. I mean, just look in the division. Matt Chapman hit for a low average. Colorado traded their third baseman, Ryan McMahon. He was awful. Went to the Yankees. And, Arenado, who's always been kind of head and head with Manny, he had an awful year. By the way, he's going to get traded. So, yeah, I think you're going to have to find a way to move one of these contracts. But I think Fernando's the one that's the easiest to move. I think anybody can see that when you look at it on paper. Mike, thank you very much. All right, coach, question for you. I know Nando is constantly changing his approach at the plate. Yeah, he's a tinkerer, no question. How much of that do you think has to do with his dad influencing him? Also, it's clearly evident that he gets in his own head at the plate. Yeah, I think so. I don't really know what he's thinking, but I know this. Uh, they're going to pitch him away, and they're going to back him off the plate, and then they're going to throw slow stuff away. Hard, tight, like we saw where they back him off the plate. And, I don't know, there may be, you never know. I mean, nobody likes to get hit. Okay, believe me, it hurts. And maybe there's a little birdie in his ear, a little nervous stepping in the box because all the scouting reports, I mean, it wasn't just one team. It wasn't just the Dodgers or the Giants. All these teams try to back him off the plate, and then they go soft stuff away. And, everybody, when he was struggling, swing, well, his on base percentage, he's doing this, he's taking more pitches. That's all well and good, but we don't pay Fernando to walk. We pay Fernando to do damage. I think that's what they want. The 25 homers is okay. 268 batting average, okay. Nothing great, nothing to write home about. But he is a tinkerer, 27 years of age. I think it's more about attitude. You know what? I think it's more about attitude. We don't need flash and dash here. We need guys that produce. And if you do that, you're going to have enough of flash and dance. Okay? That's my take. But he just doesn't play with the fired up attitude he once did. That's my opinion. Okay, what else we got here? Mike, Padre pitching does not back up their hitters when they're constantly being pitched inside and hit. Well, I've said for years with the Padre, they don't pitch enough inside. If you want to be a winning ball player, winning pitcher, you got to pitch inside. And they'll say, well, the pitcher part of the plate is inside, the hitter's part of the plate is outside. You know what? I'm backing guys off the plate from time to time. That doesn't mean hit them. You got to be aware of who's hitting, what their strengths and weaknesses are, but also you got to be aware of your strengths and weaknesses as a pitcher. A lot of times guys will pitch to the hitter what their weakness is or supposed weakness is, and they get away from making the pitch that's their best pitch. So, I don't know what to tell you on this. I've been a big believer that you got to pitch inside, knock guys off the plate, and then, come away with soft stuff away. But I don't know. Everybody's got their philosophy. I can tell you this: every pitching coach in America tells you the best pitch is strike one. You want to dot the outside corner down at the bottom of the zone with that first pitch fastball. Every pitching coach in America tells their pitchers to do that. And every hitter should be ready to hit that first pitch. If it leaks over the plate, man, sometimes that first pitch is the best pitch you're going to get. Not always, but a lot of times. But you got to pitch inside, I think, to be a big winner. That's my opinion. Okay, what else we got? Everybody's got to have an idea on Fernando. Come on. Where are those questions out there today? You guys are killing me. Okay, CBS Sports, RJ Anderson, good writer, had him on the radio show several times. He went through a list of 50 guys. And I went down, and I think he's a little bit off. But some of the guys that he had rumored to be on the Padres list, and I'm sure that AJ calls on all these and his staff call on all these guys. But, I mean, you talk about a Christmas wish list. Kyle Schwarber, who hit 240 with 56 bombs on 132 RBIs last year, 928 OPS. Tremendous clubhouse presence, no question about it. They've got the Padres on his list. What's Schwarber going to get? What's he, 33 years old? Going to get a 2-year, 3-year deal? Maybe $30 million a year? You're going to get more than $30 million a year? I mean, there's some swing and miss. He has gotten better as a hitter, hit for a much higher average now, hit 240. Normally hits, a little over 200, but man, this guy can pulverize a baseball. They got the Phillies. I think he goes back to the Phillies. Dombrowski's got to sign him. They got the Padres, and they've got the Atlanta Braves. If I'm Schwarber, I'm going to try to go back to Philadelphia. That ballpark is made for him. You go to some of these other ballparks, you may not hit 56 bombs. I mean, he may not hit 56 bombs again. But the last 3 years, this guy's been on fire. So, but they do have the Padres on his list. Then they had Pete Alonso. I can't see Alonso coming to the Padres. Too much money. He's going to be, 30 years of age, at 272, 38 homers, 126 RBIs. They got the Mets, Reds, and Padres. Could you imagine him going to the Reds in the Great American Bandbox? Oh, my God. He may hit 70 home runs in that ballpark. I mean, that's a pop-up that goes out in deep shortstop. But they had the Padres on that list. Now, if you traded Fernando, maybe you could afford going after Pete Alonso. But again, he's going to get a pretty good chunk of change. They had JT Realmuto, 35 years of age. That's not happening. You got to go cheap behind the plate. You got Fermin under contract and control for a couple of more years. You got Camposano, who can be your backup. They got the Phillies, Angels, and Padres with Realmuto. He had 257, 12 homers, 52 RBIs. One thing about Realmuto, he wants to catch every day, but at 35, he's going to need time off. And I think his catching skills have started to decline a little bit. Doesn't block the ball real well. Still throws pretty well, but doesn't block the ball real well. Now, here's an interesting guy for me. He's 35 years of age, not going to get a long-term contract. What about Eugenio Suarez for the Padres to play first base? We need a first baseman. Eugenio Suarez hit 228, strikes out a lot, got a swing and miss, but between the Rattlebacks, Arizona, and the Mariners, he hit 49 homers and drove in 118 runs. They've got the Angels, Padres, and Cubs for him. He will take a walk. He's not a real free swinger. I mean, he'll swing and miss, but he will take his walks. Turns 35 next July, and he can play first base. What do you think about that? That's not going to break the bank, signing Eugenio Suarez, and let him play first base. Okay, they had Michael King on the list. Didn't accept the qualifying offer. Padres, Atlanta, Houston on the list for Michael King. Merrill Kelly, 37 years of age, not going to get a long-term contract, 12-9 last year with a 3.52, 184 innings pitched. The year before he threw 180. The only question there, when you dig into the analytics a little bit, his hard hit rate was pretty high, but he still had a good ERA at 3.52. Okay, a couple of others. Now, here's a guy that I wanted to see the Padres sign a couple of years ago, and that's Chris Bassett. Bassett had a really nice year with Toronto. 11-9, a 3.96, and 170 in the third innings. This guy, we talk about Yu Darvish having all the different pitches. Hey, Chris Bassett, he got about 6 different pitches. He loves to throw the sinker. He throws the sinker about 40% of the time. He's got a cutter, a curve, a four-seamer, a sweeper, a splitter, a slider, and a change. Chris Bassett, I like. And I think he might be a guy that's affordable. Now, if you're looking for a bench guy, Rob Refsnyder, who was with Boston. Red Sox, Dodgers, Padres on the list, hit 269, 9 homers, 30 RBIs, turns 35 in March, a bench piece. Isn't that a typical Padres sign? Huh? 35 years of age, not going to break the bank, and hopefully he can still catch up to the fastball. But you know what? He's a pretty athletic guy. Wouldn't be a bad bench piece. And then the other guy, he hit 199 last year for the Dodgers. He made $17 million. They left him off the playoff roster. Michael Conforto, Padres, Pirates, Guardians. 199, 12 homers, 36 RBIs. Plays a decent left field, though. He made some really nice catches for the Dodgers last year. But again, he was left off all the playoff rosters. And then a couple of the Padre guys, you got Luis Arraez, Pirates, Blue Jays, Royals, Ryan O'Hearn, Seattle Padres, Yankees. Ryan O'Hearn had a nice year last year between Baltimore and San Diego, 281, 17 homers, 63 RBIs. Pretty good. So that's what I have for you today. And we got any other coaches crew question? I got to believe a lot of you got more opinions on Fernando. How can you not have an opinion on Fernando? Everybody's got to have an opinion on Fernando. I think you have to trade him. That's my take. I think you have to pay him to go bye-bye because he's got the no trade. Give him a little extra money and send him to the Yankees and get what you can from the Yankees. This is going to be a season of dumpster diving due to the potential sale of the ball club and a lockout next season. Yeah, I don't know. Does AJ Preller, do they even give him a budget yet? I don't know if AJ's even gotten a budget. I wonder what AJ's thinking right now. If I'm AJ Preller, I'm pretty irritated. I would be. I mean, here I've given my life to this organization for over 10 years, and we're hustling. We're trying to make ends meet the last couple of years because there's not a lot of money. We made the playoffs 4 out of 6 years. We've won 90 plus games each of the last 2 years. I got 1 year to go on my contract. I just hired a new manager, gave him a 3-year contract. He's got 2 more years on his contract than I have. Whew, I don't know. They keep telling AJ, I think, and you know what? I had a paper that I was looking at the other day. It said Preller's contract extension coming soon. That was 3 weeks ago. That was 3 weeks ago. Let's get the man his contract. Give him a 2-year contract extension. Match him up with the manager. He's already got one for 2026. Give it to him for 27 and 28. And then not only are you taking care of a guy that's been loyal to your organization, you're not hamstringing the next owner if they want to go a different direction. But AJ's making his money, and he deserves a little payday. They gave Eric Grupner a contract through 2029. They didn't tell anybody until we found out. And I got news for you. They're not getting 43,000 fans in there because of Beer Fest, Wine Fest, and bobblehead nights. They're getting them because they're winning baseball games. And they got players that the fans like. Jackson Merrill, Fernando, Manny, Xander. I mean, you got to take care of the president of baseball operations, in my opinion. If not, it may come back and haunt you someday. But you know what? This ownership's on their way out. Like I said, they want to make the books look as good as they possibly can. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Okay, we got anything else on Coach's Crew? Okay, Monday sports lineup. Boy, what a day today is. And it starts at 1:30 today. UC San Diego. They're playing in the big tournament down in Kissimmee, Florida. State Farm Fieldhouse, Terry's Chocolate ESPN Events of Invitational, 1:30 on ESPNU. They're taking on Temple. UC San Diego under first-year head coach Clint Allard, 4-0. Temple 3-1. Their loss to Boston College, 76-71. That game again is on ESPNU at 1:30 today. Then tonight, couple of big events. The MLS Cup, Western Conference semifinals. Tonight, 7 o'clock, Snapdragon Stadium, Minnesota United going against SDFC. Game is sold out from what I understand. Got to win at home. Got to win at home. And hopefully they win that and they can host the next round at Snapdragon Stadium. But they got to win. Apparently, Chucky Lozano going to play, been battling a hamstring. Anders Dreyer was under the weather, but apparently he's ready to roll. So they should be at full strength tonight. Again, that game's going to kick off at Snapdragon at 7. And then tonight in Vegas, Players Era Festival at 7:30, the Michelob Ultra Arena in Vegas. Michigan, number 7 in the country right now at 4-0, taking on the 2-1 Aztecs. Wolverines favored by 6.5. And then tomorrow, doesn't matter if they win or lose, they play Oregon, the Aztecs do tomorrow. So they're going to get a tough test. Michigan tough, and Oregon is very, very tough. So those are what's on the docket for today. We'll have a lot to talk about on Wednesday. Okay, what do we got on Coach's mailbag today? Austin Prather, Coach, thanks for doing the podcast. I've always enjoyed listening to you. Keep up the good work, my friend. Austin, thank you very much, and thank you very much for being such a diehard fan and a loyal fan to the John Kentera Show. Very much appreciate that. Okay, what do we got next here? Okay, what is going to happen now when the CBA is up? I think a lot of guys are going to be at home doing honeydews, taking out the trash, taking the kids to school, taking the kids to the park, taking them to their after school activities, and try to find a way to play around of golf here and there and be on their phone with their agent saying, what the hell's going on? That's what I think is going to happen. That's my take. Because baseball in 2027, unless there's like a miracle, okay, then I just don't see the season starting on time. President Trump may even get involved in that. He may force these guys to play. We'll see what happens on that, but it wouldn't surprise me. He gets involved in everything else. Okay, what else we got? Okay, well, again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Hot topic, Fernando. It's a very, very hot topic. But where this organization is financially, folks, and you need flexibility. You got to get some pitching in here. And I know you're not going to replace Fernando with, one or two guys. You got to get a haul. You got to get, maybe a 4-for-1 or a 5-for-1. But at some point in time, whether it's this year or next year, especially if this ownership is still in place, you're going to have to move them. Now, reminder, if you're tuning in for the first time, haven't subscribed, or you've been watching for a while, please subscribe, please like, please share, and continue to send in all your questions to our coach's mailbag. And again, we'll be back in on Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. And for you folks that might be traveling, safe travels and happy Thanksgiving. Talk to you bright and early Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. on the John Kentera Show, San Diego Sports Talk on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Bye-bye.